Ramana Reddy, Product Leader, Experience Design and Development at Conduent. Welcome to the broadcast, Ramana.
Thank you, Bob. At Conduent, we are both buyers and users of CCaaS. So I'm going to give you a perspective from that perspective and how we've kind of embarked on this journey. So I'm going to touch upon three topics today. The first is what's the challenges and trends that the customer experience industry faces today, and then describe why CCaaS is gaining prominence among CX leaders. And then finally share some thoughts on what's important in selecting the right partner to realize your CX journey. So just before we get started, a quick word about Conduent. Conduent provides business process solutions for organizations and governments that are designed to enhance the customer experiences and optimize the back office operations. And we do this through process efficiency and automation. So Conduent, as the name reflects, is actually a conduit between our clients and the people who count on them, and by delivering mission-critical services and solutions. So just thinking about the challenges of today's world. Now, business is facing unique challenges, and they're stemming from the unprecedented disruption we have faced in the past couple of years, and which has led to what I think is a new normal for us. And I'll touch upon a few of these challenges. The first is business resiliency. Now, businesses must adapt quickly to cope with the uncertainty in sales, disruption in supply chains, and managing a dispersed workforce. And all of this requires that companies be even more resilient than they were ever before. And the next is the seasonality of sales is expected in terms of the customer demand, but the extreme swings that we've seen, that was quite unexpected for many companies. For example, the travel and hospitality industry bore the brunt of these swings. In one of our travel clients, just as an example, we helped reskill and transition 50% of their agent workforce from sales to service support, and to even out a spike that were to the tune of 70,000 transactions in a matter of days. Now, the hybrid workforce, I think the slide advanced before that. So the next one is the hybrid workforce. Now, every company is grappling with the notion of a hybrid workforce. And while we had always maintained the option to provide CX services from a work-at-home model, the speed and scale of transition to work from home was quite significant over the past year. If you take our own example, Conduent transitioned from less than 20% working from home to over 75% who work from home at the peak time. Finally, we're moving to a stage where there's an anticipation of the end is near. And so the companies are positioning themselves to growth. And customer experience is, as you will see, is one of the trends where it can be a revenue generator as well as service and support. And then finally, customer engagement. Now, customers withdrew from the traditional ways of transacting in person with companies. And so customer engagement has shifted more towards virtual and online ways of interactions, telephone, chat, messaging. And so now the contact center agents will be sort of the new frontline brand ambassadors for companies. And all of these challenges are also opportunities for a CX organization to lean in and address. And we see many companies are doing exactly that. Well, this is reflected in this, how CXM trends are shaping up, and we can talk about that in the next slide. So the key trends that we observe are, first, that contact centers are now one of the most important engagement hubs. Forbes expects 90% of companies to compete on customer experience in 2022 and to win the dollar. Omnichannel is now a baseline expectation for most consumers. They expect a consistent channel experience regardless of their preferred channel, even as they seamlessly switch between channels. As one of our clients, when we added a chat as a channel, it increased the productivity by 70% compared to voice only. And they also had better response rates when you do that. Now, along with CSAT, customer fit score is an increasingly important metric that we track to ensure stickiness with our customers. Gartner projects that 96% of customers who gave a high effort score are likely to switch to a competitor. That means that you wanted to make it as easy and seamless for our consumers as possible. The fourth is cloud enablement, and this is a significant driver to a CX organization for all the advantages that it offers, namely variable costs, speed to deployment, and the flexibility of features that you can switch on. And finally, underpinning all of the above is analytics, AI, and automation. Given the importance of CX for a company, leveraging the advanced capabilities to analyze the data, extract customer insights, and improve productivity is getting to be even more important. Now, CCaaS platforms encompass the technology capabilities necessary to meet these business challenges and align to the CX trends. And there is a reason why CCaaS adoption is gaining momentum. So I want to talk a little bit of this. Lisa opened her presentation with a comment from Gartner, and this is just a chart that talks to that a little bit more. So I want to illustrate how dramatic a shift it has been for companies to up their game in CX technology. On this graphic, you see the hype cycle for contact center technology as projected by the analysts at Gartner. And for those not familiar with this graphic, it's a representation of a way how innovations and new technologies that emerge and are expected to make an impact based on Gartner's own research, their own customer conversations, and the technology innovation that's developed over time. And what you typically see is that a technology makes its way from the left as a nascent innovation and all the way to the right where it's adopted as a mainstream technology. And I know the chart is small, you can't read everything, but there are two technologies that you see to the right that I want to highlight. One is CCaaS, and the other is work from home technology. When you compare the position 2 years ago, CCaaS and work from home technology, in fact, have advanced rapidly over the past 2 years. So CCaaS is expected to take more than 5 years to reach maturity at that time. And now it's less than 2 years where we think that it's going to reach maturity. In fact, it's getting adopted as we speak. And even more unexpected is a work from home technology wasn't even a technology that was tracked in this entire chart. So you can see how real it's turned out to be. Now, when you put the challenges that the businesses face, the trends driving customer experience, and the technology maturity of cloud-based platforms, CCaaS and work from home technologies are emerging as a solution for many companies to drive their CX strategy. And the next slide, I'm going to call out some reasons why CCaaS is going to be adopted as a mainstream technology at this point in time. So as with most business applications, contact center technology has started the transition to the cloud. But the pace of market adoption of the cloud-based CCaaS has picked up because of attributes that address today's challenges. Let me walk through each one for us. So the first one is it's a consolidated platform. Whether it is through acquisitions, partnerships, or in-house innovation, the technology pieces that support contact centers are considered to be a standardized platform and centralized in the cloud. Now, this unburdens internal IT teams to focus on value-added applications rather than managing infrastructure for contact centers. The second is agility. When offered as a service, contact center services can be provisioned in a fraction of the time it would typically take for a legacy environment. For example, enabling a chatbot in CCaaS is achieved in a matter of days as opposed to weeks or months on legacy technology. The flexibility that they offer, combined the ability to centralize and then be agile, gives you the flexibility to ramp up or taper your service levels to match your customer demand. Now, you no longer need to make expensive investment just to match peak capacity, but rather pay as you go based on consumption. And finally, the value addition. While you may not need them at first, you can switch on new features such as chatbots or sentiment analysis. As the platform matures and add new features, you can enable them on demand, and much like how new apps and features get enabled on your phone. Now, at Conduent, we define CX as a service as a complete solution that adds the process expertise that we bring to the table, as well as the human capital on top of the cloud-based contact center technology. But to deliver exceptional customer experience, acquiring state-of-the-art technology is not sufficient. You must integrate to your operational excellence that comes from best practices in planning, building, and operating your contact centers. You must develop a skilled agent workforce by hiring, training, and managing them, whether in a brick-and-mortar contact center or work-from-home virtual contact center. We have applied best practices in our learning and training processes to proactively support our customer needs. For example, for one of our clients, we retrained 1,000 agents at a time to be ready to absorb their peak call volumes. Now, we believe the employee-agent experience is essential to deliver great customer experiences. For example, along with typical rewards and recognition for agents, we have applied gamification approaches. When you have all three components of people, process, and platforms working together, you develop a virtuous cycle of continuous improvement and customer service excellence. Now, when you think about executing on your CX strategy, I want to highlight a few important considerations on picking the right partner who can help you on the journey. And this is not necessarily an easy thing to do, but I think it's better when you have a partner who's going to walk the path. And some of the points I want to bring up is, can you help define the target state that matches your vision and uniqueness of your industry and business? So can the partner have the depth of breadth of capabilities that match your customer needs? And then thirdly is how flexible is their capability to keep up with your market fluctuation or cyclical demand? And fourthly, does your ecosystem help simplify your ecosystem? Can they help you sunset your legacy technologies? And then finally, do they leverage AI, automation, analytics to drive efficiency and customer insights? Now, all of these questions you can pose as whether the CCaaS can bring to the table. And very often we see in the market that a lot of the leading players are incorporating much of these into their offerings.